In other words, other words, other words, other words, other words, other words, other words. Let me give you the breakdown. Let me give you the breakdown. Let the words down. Keep a steady night in tempo. Deep one. Confident deliverance. In other words, other words. In other words. In other words. Ooh. In other words. In other words. In other words.
Welcome. This is another episode of In Other Words. My name Legend. I appreciate anybody, if this is your first time stopping in to holler at me. Just sit back and chill. This is what we do. We're going to sit back and have a conversation about all different genres of life, whether it's music, entertainment, sports, or politics from time to time. You know what I mean? It don't matter. We just going to kick it in. But anyway, these two videos that I want you to check out is of two women who's clearly fed up what's been going on in the world. You know, people using mental manipulation, racism, and all type of tactics right now. And it's getting nasty. It's nasty work out here. So I want y'all to check out these two videos. After that, we're gonna sit back and have a conversation. Check it out.
This is how I know that racism is literally just jealousy. Because if you don't like a group of people, if you don't like someone or something, you leave it alone. You leave them alone, because if you don't like something or someone, you avoid them. But the thing with racists, or especially anti-black racists, they do not leave us the fuck alone. Like, how can you claim to hate black people yet be obsessed with them and be involved in everything they do? Anti-black racists literally claim to hate black people, yet will literally not leave them alone. And you can see this with history. You can see this with segregation era, when black people were actually thriving on their own, and yet white people destroyed their communities. It's just like, how can you claim to hate us, yet want to be us? And be so obsessed with us and our culture? You try to make us look bad. You come up with these crazy ass slurs to call us. There is just so much anti-blackness throughout America's conception that I literally could make like not even 2 hours. Like, I could be ranting about this forever. It's honestly just insane how you claim to hate us, yet you are literally obsessed with us. We live in your head rent-free.
These people are Native American Indians one day, Moors the next day, Israelites by a blink of an eye, FBA by sunrise. I don't know what they call themselves these days, and for you to say we are the whatever. First of all, how about we're every fucking thing? Is that hard to grasp? The way you go over to Asia and you see Koreans, you see people that are Vietnamese, you see people that are Chinese, you see people that are Filipino, but they're all Asian. You see how they're all different ethnic groups? You see how that works? You see how they all have different identity markers, but yet they're all Asian. You get that, right? What is so hard about believing that people that have melanin were all over the world and had different identities, different ethnic groups, different nationalities? Just like Africa is a whole goddamn continent. People that's Nigerian and the South Africans, they don't identify as each other. They actually fight amongst each other. They have different languages. They have different customs. The commonality is that they're all on the same continent. The commonality is that a lot of them share the same hue of complexion. But they're different. Y'all understand differences when it comes to Latin people. A Brazilian is not a Colombian is not a Puerto Rican, a Dominican is not a Mexican is not an Ecuadorian. Y'all understand the differences and y'all understand the commonalities when it comes to different groups of people. But when it comes to us, we all have to be the same. It's hypocrisy at this point. Stop being disrespectful. People can identify how they want to. That's just like different religious beliefs. There's people that look like me that might be a Christian, might be a Catholic, might be a Jehovah's Witness. We're all different. Just because we look the same doesn't mean that we don't practice different things, or it doesn't mean that we don't have different cultures. It doesn't mean that our ethnicities are exactly the same. The more you know. Even in America, I'm not the same as a black person that's in New Orleans, and I'm not the same as a black person that's in California. I'm not the same as a black person from Kentucky. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Y'all are very dense, and it's intentional when it comes to us, and it's very sad because everyone else gets to identify how they see fit. Everyone gets to trace their lineage back and be who they want to be and bring the stories down from what their grandmothers told them. But when it comes to us, it's a lie, it's a scam. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way.
I just feel like non-black people that are people of color that claim to be allies and they care about us and all that, blah, 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 blah. They like to date us, befriend us. I think y'all need to be better at holding the people in your lives, like the non-black people in your lives, accountable for their anti-blackness and colorism. I hate how you guys go out of your way to have black partners, black friendships, love black culture, black style, black music. But when you guys are at the dinner table talking to your family, you guys are okay with your grandma calling your boyfriend a hard ER. The hatred that a lot of people have towards black people, black women, is something that has been rooted in them since they were children. This is something that is taught. In most cultures, mind you, like darker skin is always like lesser value in a lot of fucking in most cultures. It's beyond blackness. And a lot of you guys like to benefit off of black people, but you guys don't actually care to call out the racist and the colorism in your life or to even change the system. And whether you like to admit it or not, it's because you guys benefit from the said system. And it's actually so disgusting because it feels like you guys don't even view black people, especially black women, as actual human beings with the same emotions, feelings, needs, desires as you guys. And it's disgusting. Unfortunately, situations like Kenny isn't rare at all. It's not. And I think the scariest thing about situations like Kenny and Janae is the fact that, like, what if they did end up having the 4 kids that she wanted and all that stuff? Now they have 4 black fucking children, racist father, racist family on one side. It's just dangerous. It's a bad system. And a lot of you guys, black people, do not care to keep on making that system. Like, you guys keep on dating these like people with racist families, racist past, racist history. And you guys are just like, well, people grow up, people learn, blah, 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 blah. No, you really, this conversation makes me so mad. I'm just gonna end it here. I just feel like as black people, especially, we need to be careful with who we hang out with when it comes to non-black people as a whole. It is okay to be picky. It is so okay. I am the type of person, when I surround myself with non-black people, I am studying them for a little bit because I need to know what type of person you really are. I need to know if you're really there to ride for black people or if you're just somebody that just likes the benefits of being around a black person. Because a lot of people seriously do like to study us. We are literally the blueprint. We are the blueprint. So people do benefit from being around us. And the amount of mixed people that I know that have had like experiences in their childhood where like their mother is like calling them the N-word when they get mad, and situations where their grandmother doesn't even like to be around them because they have a black father. Let's end that system. Like, please, 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 please. Let's really think about who we surround ourselves with, because it is dangerous. It does have effects to it. You really can't, as a black person, live your life all the time just being nonchalant and not give a fuck, because it's never gonna benefit you.
You can always tell a person who has yet to be punched in the mouth by the way they conduct themselves.
So, after listening to both videos, my takeaway from the situations are, I agree wholeheartedly, with both videos. Particularly the first video when a young lady was speaking about jealousy and racism. I think they both are closely related. You know what I mean? Because the way that I feel about it is, in order to be racist and constantly watching somebody and watching something 24/7 to the point where you got to monitor it with street lights and cameras, you got to put all of these different devices on phones, and you watching them in the prison systems, you watching these kids as they growing up in school, you just monitoring and watching us 24/7. So it has to be a level of sickness and obsession and jealousy and racism all tied in together, because I've never witnessed or seen a time in my life where I was disgusted by something or I didn't like it, but I just kept watching it. If I was deeply disturbed by something, I was bothered that much, I wouldn't even watch it no more. You know what I'm saying? If it's a movie or a TV show and you watching it and it's something you can't stand and it's making you cringe, you're going to eventually turn the channel. You're going to turn the TV off. So the fact that they still want to watch us, the fact that they feel like they have to be a part of our culture, They love to dress like us. They love to talk like us. They love our music. They love our athletes, the sports, everything, entertainment. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they still making racial remarks and racial slurs. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not speaking to every white person or every non-black person. I'm only speaking to those that's racist, the ones who secretly love watching us or hearing us or wherever it may be. But then you saying racial slurs and you acting like you don't like us and you acting prejudiced. Those two things don't add up. The math don't be mathing on that. But I just personally feel like there has to be a time where black people got to start making better decisions on who they trust and who they moving with. You know what I mean? It's no secret that it's always been a plan to take us down, to wipe us out. We've heard this from Malcolm X. We've seen it, how it played out. You know what I mean? We've heard it from Pop. We've heard it from all of our greats and our legends on what the plan is and how they secretly been watching them and trying to track them down and all of these different things and spying on them. So at some point, we just got to get to a mindset of we not finna just keep allowing the same things to happen. We got to become best friends with each other first. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop being so envious and jealous of each other so that we can network more, so that we can create more capital in our communities, building things like banks and schools and our own food supplies, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I feel like we on the right path because more people are at least speaking out about it. People are being more brave about being vocal about what they seeing and what they hearing and what's going on. So that's a start. You know what I mean? But this is a much deeper topic than just for today and for right now. So we're going to leave it right there. I'm reporting live from the hood to the burbs, checking out yours truly. In other words.
In other words.
Other words, other words, other words.
Other words, other words.
Other words, other words.
In other words.